to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Harry Behringer is excused. Paul Cuny is excused. Joe Latte.
Present.
Robert Laraway.
Here.
Brent Peavy.
Here.
Carol Shannon here. Dave Torgerson.
Here. We have a quorum. Agenda's there. Any corrections, additions? If not, we'll accept by unanimous consent.
We don't need, if we wanna talk about the dredging stuff, do we need to have that line item, or can we talk about that like the village?
Council comments or?
Council comments.
Yeah.
Agenda's here. Any additions, corrections to the agenda? Move to accept. Motion made by Laraway to accept the council or the agenda. Seconded by Latte. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. Motion carries. Okay, I want to commend Tim and parts that Jessica had in getting that banking. What is it, an RPF or RFP?
Professional proposal.
Yeah. Which I think will lend us a little bit more money because Tim rightly got them to compete a little bit for our business. We'll deal with that later. I also want to commend him on staying ahead of the curve for us. As you see in your packet, we've got House Bill 5167. And that has, well, we'll talk about that in a minute, but I mean, that's how Tim stays ahead of it. And I'm just really pleased that Tim stays ahead of all these things. And thank you for putting together the IT plan, disaster plan. I know that our auditors wanted to see that. And then something that came up this week that Tim's staying ahead of is fiber optic by Frontier out here. And what's going on with that, which we can talk about later. So with that, I don't think we have anything else. Mr. Manager?
Good evening. No update from the airport users on transfer of ownership. Sent them kind of the cliff notes of what our attorney sent us, and they called back with a question week ago maybe. I don't know, it was about how much we're paying for lights, is that it?
Yes,
Yeah, so. But,
Tom called and did request an extension
oh,
past the first of the year because he's having a hard time tracking everybody down that has a hand in what's going to transpire.
so we can probably deal with that next month, you think?
Yeah.
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 We had the annual service performed on the backhoe, and we also replaced the rear tires on that unit. We put in some air bags for the suspension on the salt truck to help that ride better. The lake committee is planning to meet. We haven't set a date yet, but with the river project completed through Savin, they want to meet to review that and talk about next projects and permits and that kind of stuff. You should receive the audit at next month's meeting. Informed by the county that we're going to receive 2 lots this year through chargeback. These are lots that went unsold at both auctions. The law requires that they be returned to the village at that point in time. We have to pay them what they, covered from the settlement. And then as discussed earlier, got wind that Frontier had a subcontractor out in the village taking photographs of the right of way for a possible fiber optic project. I've reached out to the vice president of business development at Frontier. I've not heard back from her. Requesting the phone call so we can kind of talk about concerns that we would have and make sure that we're on the same page in terms of what they're going to do. Letting them know that there will be no poles put into the ground here. And informing them, you already have Homeworks Tri-County. you already have Charter Spectrum, you already have CMS, like, you already have like DSL, it's like. There's a lot of internet options in this town already.
Yes, there are.
So. That is my report.
Okay, any questions for Tim? That Frontier was having trouble money wise. How can I underwrite projects like this?
Yeah.
You know, they scrapped my stock.
That's what I mean. I don't understand
Mhm.
how their money's coming through. All
What
right,
kind of internet does CMS have out here? Just
The
wireless?
wireless.
Yeah, line of
Oh,
sight.
It's on the roof next door. They just got it.
Oh,
Yeah, it's the radio frequency one or whatever that.
Yeah.
okay. Any report from my LIPOA? We don't know anything?
No, but Jessica and Pam have started working on Adopt a Family.
Okay. That starts now, doesn't it?
Very much.
Yep, letters went out last week.
Okay, okay. Thank you for doing that, Jessica. Been very successful. I know you spearheaded that for a long time. Okay, we have no public hearings, public comments. Seeing none, we'll go to existing business, which is nothing. And now we have new business, exciting stuff. Traffic control order. Here we go.
Earlier this year, we had a stop sign go missing and we replaced it with obviously a stop sign. And then looking at the intersection, it services one house, like. And so the thought that Jerry and I had after looking at it and looking at, you know, there's literally one house that uses that intersection and one house that goes by it, that we could probably bail on the stop sign and just make it a yield sign. To me, that would make a lot more sense than there's no need to stop there.
Alright, yield signs aren't nearly as desirable either.
No, yeah. So the traffic control order in your packet would direct us to change that from a stop to a yield, and I'm sure the resident in the former Ledbetter estate will appreciate not having to always stop there to be legal.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion
Motion by, go ahead.
that we accept traffic order 25-01.
Motion made by Phoebe to accept traffic order 2501,
Second.
seconded by Latte. Further discussion? Seeing none, roll call please.
Joe Latte,
Yes.
Robert Laraway,
Yeah.
Brian Peavy,
Yes.
Carol Shannon, yes. Dave Torgerson,
Yes, motion carries 5-0. Resolution 2514, IT disaster incident internet response plan.
Yeah, so our auditor said, we're not gonna ding you this year, but if you don't do it, we're gonna have to put it in the comments next year, but we want you to have an IT disaster policy and an IT incident response plan, so. That is what is in your packet that would be adopted by this resolution. And the resolution also authorizes myself in consultation with our IT director, who's not paying attention.
Our IT director.
You'll take care of customer, what was that?
I said the resolution allows the village manager and consultant and consulting with the IT director
Yes.
to amend the
Director, wow.
policy as needed moving forward for the IT disaster and incident response plan. So.
Work with multiple other companies doing IT disaster stuff too, so I'm happy to work with them on it.
So there you go. And I'm glad you put that together, Jim.
You get all the credit.
It's not very complicated,
No, it's not. It's
but it
pretty
had to be written down.
Yeah,
so
Because it's not like we have a whole bunch of stuff.
no,
It's all saved on the cloud, right?
all our stuff is on the cloud, like.
Yeah, and you can access it from your phone even.
I guess for my phone, yeah, like, you know, like Cloudflare had an outage today, that didn't impact, our systems, but it did impact the state, so like if I went to log into Secretary of State, I could. But not like the data's been corrupted.
Okay,
So having like cloud-based stuff, that's more beneficial for this type of stuff versus like having your own server and stuff, right? Because if they hack into your server, they can get anywhere.
Yeah, that we have firewalls already in place and have antivirus and that kind of stuff already in place, have for years. my only comment right now from a disaster point of view is right now Spectrum is our internet service here. We'll have to double check with them, but I think once their service goes down, it goes down. Versus Homeworks with their fiber system is guaranteed for minimum 72 hours to stay up and running. So let's say a disaster hits here, and we're out of power. But if he needs internet access and stuff like that, cell phone towers are the same thing, they're guaranteed for 72 hours. But Homework does the same thing as well, so we would not have internet access here in this building, but we would at the.
Because we have two different services.
This Homework is down there, so.
Yeah, when we set up the buildings, we did it intentionally to have
I
different
remember that.
here and there for that reason.
Yep. Okay,
We need a motion.
as you, if you look it over, yep. You gonna move that?
Yes, I can. I shall.
Motion made by Shannon to accept resolution 2514 IT disaster and incident plan. Is there a second?
I'd second it.
Seconded by PV. Discussion. Seeing none?
Robert Laraway.
Yeah.
Brent Peavy.
Yes.
Carol Shannon, yes. Joe Latte
Yes,
and Dave Torgerson.
Yes, passed 5-0. Resolution 2025-15. House Bill 5167. Hooray, hooray.
Yeah, I have no idea where this came from in terms of what the motivation of the bill sponsor is. I would think it's probably not going to get any traction. But House Bill 5167 was recently introduced and it would prohibit local units of government from entering into contracts or agreements for solid waste service that are exclusive in the community after January 1st, 2027. If you did, it would have to be passed at an election where your residents would vote on said exclusive agreement. It makes literally no sense to me. My guess is she had a constituent that got honked off that their township did a township-wide trash thing and put it on their tax bill. That'd be where I put my initial bet on what the rationale is here, but
We don't know who introduced this bill?
no, we do. We know the rep.
Oh, who was it?
Just out of the Lansing area. Republican. So. Talk to the league, they've got it on their radar. I figure if we adopted a resolution, we could send it off to Nair and Roger. Yeah, as well as reach out to the league that we're in opposition to it and.
Yep.
And I would understand it more with different, like PD services and different utilities, but for trash, I mean, also like we're getting a cheaper price for all our residents, like it could get messy if there were kickbacks for
Sure.
different things.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I mean, King's is way cheaper than everybody else.
They're phenomenal. I mean, and I've never talked to a single person that is disappointed with our trash service at all.
Yep.
And it's all in one day,
Yeah,
Yeah.
not 3 different days.
and I mean, if you wanna complain about Kings, get a waste management can and deal with them once.
Yeah.
I dare you, deal with them once. So,
Okay, so. Who wants to make the motion to accept resolution 2025-15?
I can make a motion that we accept, resolution 2025-15.
Motion made by PV to accept resolution 25-15. Is there a second?
second,
Okay. Laraway, second. Further discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Brent Peavy.
Yes.
Carol Shannon, yes. Joe Latte.
yes,
Robert Laraway.
Yes.
Dave Torgerson.
Yes, motion carries 5-0. Village banking services. This will take a little discussion and explanation. Mr. Madden, or Mr. Laraway, either one.
Actually, it's not a lot of discussion, just the background would be that we've been with Isabella Bank and Trust for quite some time. And we've been less than happy with some of the issues, especially the interest rates and so we put it out, request proposal for both the Isabella Bank and Mercantile. And they both responded with some some pretty good offers. Isabella Bank, though, we, had very good discussions with them, or at least Tim did. They're, new, what's your title?
What?
Carrie Nance, she's, commercial
sales.
lending director.
Yeah.
Yes,
Commercial.
yeah,
Commercial
Yep.
account, yeah. And we've got a letter from them which addressed all of our issues and made some pretty good concessions as far as, interest and our service needs. Well, there's also the fact that, as Tim pointed out, during tax season, Mercantile would require you have to make daily runs into Mount Pleasant for deposits, which is an inconvenience. And we compared that with the promises that Isabel Bank has put in writing for us now, which we will be getting better interest and better return on our investments. So, and we've had a lot of discussion about it. I know some of you are also against Isabella Bank, as was I. But given the concessions they've made and put in writing, I put my differences aside and I've joined in voting for the renewal of our business relationship with Isabella Bank. The rest of the finance committee also voted for Isabella Bank. We'll be continuing with Isabella Bank for at least the near future. The dredging river banking, that will stay with Mercantile. We're going to stay with Isabella Bank for at least for the foreseeable future because of the changes they've made and the promises they've made and the offers they've made. And again, these are all in writing now. They've cooperated with us quite a bit. So we'll give them another shot and see what happens.
Yep, that's our suggestion from the finance committee.
Sounds like everybody wins.
Yep.
My position with it is, I mean, the people who deal with the banking stuff, I mean, whatever's easier. What's the easiest to deal with and your stuff, like I've always kind of defaulted to Tim's opinion on it. I mean, I have to deal with it on a day-to-day basis, and that's great that they came to the table and sorted some stuff out. I mean, made it.
One of the limitations that we had, because we initially explored keeping basically account at Isabella Bank for deposit purposes and then doing ACH transfers to Mercantile Bank. Our software with BSNA doesn't allow us to have two different basically cash accounts through different banks. So, you know, because it's a fund-based accounting, you can't have two of the accounts, the same account numbers, which is what you essentially have there. You know, and as we discussed at finance, if for whatever reason Isabella Bank doesn't, you know, live up to this, it's not like we can't revisit this in 3 months or 6 months and make a change then if that's beneficial. Mercantile Bank was absolutely phenomenal to deal with. One of the besides the location issue, one of the things that we are looking at for security purposes is what's called a sweep account. And I outlined that in the packet, but basically it takes your surplus funds and it goes through a sweep process overnight, or it comes out of the bank.
Every day.
Every day to an investment and back in by the start of business the next day. And that was a $150 a month fee at Mercantile Bank to do that automatically. That account, checking account, would have a 1.19 interest rate. If you say had $500,000 in that account, your first 250 is FDIC protected, so that next 250 is your sweep. You're losing almost 3/4 of an interest point by the time you factor those fees against that 1.19 rate as it's going through the sweep. So it's about $6,700 a year roughly for that type of service. And Isabella Bank has said they are waiving all fees for us and guaranteeing 4% on our money market and our municipal plus checking for 12 months at least. So
like account analysis fee, bill pay fee, we don't have to pay any of that, plus 4%.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, they pretty much gave us everything. Maybe a little bit more.
I know. Tomorrow.
They
Again,
also were made aware that
The checking, the big deal is the checking, you get 4% versus 1.9.
Yeah, I get zero.
Yeah,
They also specifically said if any of our board members have had issues,
they
you
did say.
call Carrie personally to talk to.
Oh, yeah, I have her cell phone. They didn't offer that kind of stuff though.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta call again.
Yeah, I mean, they have been great. There's, what was the other lady's name? There's,
Jody Hanson,
yep, they're both good. Yeah, they've both been great.
Yeah, I think once we also explained, here are the issues that we've encountered. And I said, this isn't a way to justify or anything like that, but there isn't a branch manager at Lake Isabella, so those are the people that would typically do that type of reaching out, and so.
Well, they haven't done anything really since 2018, until we forced them to the table with Mercantile.
Yeah,
up until we forced them, they they kind of felt they were entitled to our business because they had facilities here in the village. Yeah, we've explained to them that it doesn't work that way, or Tim explained that to them. They've come around to our way of thinking, and they've asked that any of the board members that have problems with them, get in touch with them.
Yeah, that sounds great. I mean, change is hard. Switching banks would be more work. So I mean, if we can stay with them and they can agree to our terms and be on the same page, that's a win-win.
Financially and business wise, it finally seems like they're going to come around, so we're gonna give them another shot. That was the consensus of our last 2-3 meetings, including meeting with the banks as well.
So. Are we going to get more information about that?
sweep account, yeah, Isabel Bank hasn't, released those details yet, but.
It can't be any,
Yeah,
if there's no fees, that's the biggest thing.
yeah, that's the biggest thing, in my opinion.
Yeah. Any other things you have to make decisions on, CD wise or anything?
So one of the things that we talked about at finance committee, which is truly a council decision, I think, is what is your level of risk tolerance? So with the amount of money that we have, you do have to consider multiple sides of the teeter-totter here, where you have liquidity, you have security. At any institution, for any ownership class, you're limited to a single $250,000 of FDIC insurance, which is another reason why Mercantile Bank was, I wouldn't say an issue, but we intentionally put the lake money in that bank. And we did that because we don't bank there and the association doesn't bank there. And they gave us a great deal on money market account.
So there can't be any cold.
There's no commingling, you can't say anybody's dipping out of the fund, like it's clearly in a separate bank than what we bank with. If we were to move our money over there, all of that is still under that single FDIC level because it's all under the same employee identification number or EIN number. So keeping our banking at Isabel Bank ensures that pool at Mercantile has its own FDIC coverage because that's in a different institution. And at Isabel Bank, you have the municipal premium checking account at 4%, you have the money market at 4%. Collectively, you only have $250,000 of FDIC insurance. Do you want to put more into CDs that are going to have a lower yield than those two options? Realistically, we would look to try and do like 3-month revolving CDs, so you'd have one come every month, and that gets you about 1 3/4 to maybe 2% on those CDs. So
It'd be
you'd be losing, half.
2%.
Yeah,
They go up size 2%, they would do that.
so. Yeah,
My thought is that I don't think if there's anything that happens, FDIC is only as good as Congress will make it, if there's that kind of disaster. I think Isabella Bank and even Mercantile will be hanging around before the Congress ever acted on an FDIC. Yeah, because they're gonna deal with us last.
That's the deal with two banks.
Yeah,
I don't know, I guess I've never even really heard of a FDIC like insurance claim on like, would that be like a cyber crime?
No, that's if the bank essentially fails. So
Oh,
like when Silicon Valley Bank went in the dumpster 2 years ago. That was basically a cyber bank out in San Francisco. Like
gotcha.
all the deposit holders had to go to the FDIC to get their money back, and anybody that was over 250. Then it becomes a claim against the bank during bankruptcy proceedings or whatever for any of those excess funds. So. Yeah, it's incredibly rare. Especially post 2008. For those of us who remember the world then, you had banks that were just playing loose and fast with their,
give them a loan.
the ratio in terms of lending to assets and, Sarbanes-Oxley came in afterwards and tightened that up. The industry standard was like 8-1, 10-1, and you had banks that were 50-1.
Right.
They were so overextended. You know,
Well, we should probably figure out level 3.
yeah, I mean, really it's
Before we
guidance
have
from
them.
you on. Technically, the treasurer is the one that does the investing, but
Yeah. So what's everybody's thought on that? I say personally, let's not do the CDs. We can always get them. If you don't want them, I mean, you can always switch to them if we see something along the horizon.
Yeah, I mean, the higher interest rate is definitely significantly more attractive than,
Well, it's about 40,000 a year.
yeah, if we have $1 million in there at 4%, that's 40 grand, guys.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
80% of our police contract.
Yeah,
in the city of Pleasant.
that's what I'm saying, and that's definitely more advantageous to the community, than, having the CDs with the,
Yeah,
the long shot of something happening, where we'd have to deal with FDIC,
and that's a bad analogy I've heard, because it's $1 million overall funds, so some of that's major streets and that's local,
Right.
So.
Right.
It's not all going to general fund.
Correct.
So clarify that.
So the finance committee's recommendation to the council is we should stay with Isabella Bank for now.
Are you for the CDs? What did we decide? We didn't decide that in council
No, we did not.
No,
So that's what we have to talk about now before we have a motion.
Okay,
So,
but I said, I think our best interest would be to just leave it in the accounts and draw more interest.
okay, Brent, what do you think?
I agree.
Me too.
Well,
yeah,
all right, so we can have a motion.
Make that motion.
Motion to keep our current financial or their new financial arrangement with Isabella Bank. And put our money in the checking and money, pardon me?
renew the revised agreement with Isabella.
New revised agreement with Isabella Bank to keep our money within the checking and money market and forego the CDs as of now. With the option of going back later. Does that sound like a good motion? All right, is there a second? Who made that? You did.
I did,
PV makes the motion to do that. Is
Okay,
there a second?
I'll second.
Mate second.
okay.
Thirds it. All right, any further discussion? Seeing none, let's have a roll call because we're dealing with Doe.
Okay. Carol Shannon, yes. Joe Latte,
Yes.
Robert Laraway,
Yes,
Brent Peavy,
yes.
Dave Torgerson.
Yes, motion carries 5-0. Public comment?
Just a quick question regarding the airport. Tim, do you know when the current liability insurance runs out on the airport?
next year, we had to do a 12-month when we renewed.
Right, I understand. So my suggestion would be These guys have had almost 2 years to get their act in gear. Spending them beyond January, I would say no, you've had enough time, but. If the current insurance can be carried by us beyond December 31st, I would suggest that they pony up. The cost of that insurance that would cost us from January to whatever it finishes up. So unless they want to cancel it altogether and bring in their own insurance, but I don't see any reason why the village needs to carry on any cost whatsoever beyond December 31st, so. Like I said, they've had 2 years to get their act in gear.
What's the advantage of transferring ownership versus just a lease? Cause I mean, if they're gonna sit on their hands, we could just drop a lease and you sign it or you don't. Here's our terms.
Yeah,
We're gonna charge you, you know, even if we did the insurance that we charged them for. I don't know if that'd be a question for the attorney and then we can kind of say, here you go, or.
yeah, I'd also need to look into. How that would be handled from a taxation standpoint, because.
Concerning possible income or.
Airports are though tax exempt under the law. But typically municipalities don't lease property as far as I can think of, on any. Oh, yeah, they do, probably they do. We can certainly explore that. And do it.
I mean, I know we kind of thought that we would kind of negotiate something out or talk about something, but I mean, I guess we could just come up with a lease and there you go.
They still need to come up with an entity to take it though. too.
Yeah, true.
Like,
But can we at some point decide, okay, this is the end, we're not waiting any longer?
yeah,
I would really like to look at that as well, because as Jeff said, he had 2 years. And I don't wanna take it away from them, but they need to get organized. Now,
Or if anything, if it's possible, we cancel our insurance effective December 31st.
we're not gonna get money back for it. Why would you do that?
I'm sorry,
You're not gonna get money back. Why would you?
I'm not saying that, I'm just putting them on the thing of saying, I don't think they can run the airport without insurance, so. My guess would be is if the village said December 31st is the end of our insurance, you better have insurance on January 1st, so that airport gets shut down, I'm assuming, so. I don't know exactly how that works, but it's like I said, I'm tired of waiting, so they've had almost 2 years to do this stuff and. I don't see any reason for granting them anything beyond December 31st, so.
Yep, there's that. Okay. Anybody else? No? Council comment. Right?
I was just gonna talk about, you know, the dredging thing. I went out there and finally looked at the work and. You know, I kind of thought we were gonna go to like. Where the river channel goes, like down to the sandy bottom. I thought you'd start at that depth and that was kind of the agreed upon depth, and then you work this way. Well, it's like. There's the river and then there's like a base and it might go a little bit lower, but like none of the water's flowing through there. And it looks like there's still. There's quite a bit of slop. There's quite a bit of that black muck, you know, around the boat launch we need to clean up. I wish we would have. I didn't have waders on me, but I would like to go to the first part and see how close we are to changing the flow. Like, I don't know how big the restrictions up there. My drone's still parked in a tree, so I can't fly
I've
that.
been trying to get mine out when, it's a nice day and it's not windy. Jerry was out with the backhoe today just to kind of poke around, because when Tim and I went and looked at it. Said, that's way too much material left for us to take with a backhoe and dump trailer. Like, it's just going south from that ramp. We estimate there's probably 100 loads on the dump trailer just to clean that area out. You know, where they ran into rock by the point, that's a whole different issue. And you're right, like getting out there to see if we can divert flow through that channel. I think when it firms up, we might be able to take the backhoe out there, but. We get a good cold snap of a week of cold weather, and I wouldn't be too concerned about running it out there then. I really don't want to get our backhoe stuck.
I had like a little search rod too that I could like prod around and kind of see. If there's any firm soil or what we could do.
Yeah, I don't know, did anybody talk to Savin about why they didn't go deeper? Anybody?
So when Savin wanted to close out the project, he took Norm and Tracy out on a boat with a probe and they probed the depths at the, they were 4 feet, over 3 feet, 4 feet, 5 feet consistently through a project area with the exception of where that rock area was.
Okay, so the problem there was rocks.
Yeah, which they can't get with the suction dredge.
And he kept telling us that he didn't want to get too close to the bank on the east side because of,
Slumpage.
shouldering or whatever they call it.
Slumpage.
But he really didn't come close. He was 20 feet away instead of 10.
No, I mean, you would think that you would have got more of the mucky stuff and, once you got to the native ground
Right.
there, I mean, there's a big difference. That's the soup, like
Yep.
there's still soup there.
Yep.
That you sink to your waist and.
That affects access.
Did they, how do we measure the yardage in the settling pond? Do we just do it by square footage?
Yeah, basically.
So they met their goal there. Do we know, or
I
didn't
mean,
we
that,
say?
that pond, that thing was full. You and I went out there and looked at it.
Yeah. So it shows you how bad it was.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, I think that if you could get the flow diverted, I think it would really help our cause, cause then
mhm,
a lot of the sediment would go to the other side of the river and keep our side clean.
right,
And it would help, we're gonna flush some stuff downstream, probably, once the flow is diverted, would probably clean up a lot of the muck too.
now, as I recall, from one of our preliminary meetings. We knew that was going to be a project that had to be revisited in about 3 years. We were gonna do all, that was our second project, and then we're gonna do some more, but we knew that there's gonna have to be some maintenance on that end of it. I think, if my memory serves me.
Yeah, we kind of talked about once we got to a point that we were comfortable with at the village, that we were gonna do some type of silt trap
Right,
or
right.
ongoing maintenance spot,
Right.
like at the end of the boat launch, if you dug a little deeper spot and that was your silt trap, you'd had one spot every year in the drawdown to clean out. Maybe you bring in Malleys once a year and they take their long reach and they fill a couple wagons, and then we just have a maintenance fee. And it keeps us, clean downstream.
Yeah, it was kind of disappointing to me.
I don't know, I'll put some waders on and go and.
Well, don't go alone.
Yeah,
Yeah, no kidding, I don't think
Please
so.
don't.
Who knows how deep that stuff
Well,
is.
you get stuck in there.
Yeah,
Get a rope at least, tie it up to the tree, so we know where to find the body.
yeah, there you go.
yeah, if we can find a spot to take anything, or, I don't know, we're probably out of yardage on our permit anyway, but. If we could at least divert some flow without,
Yeah.
I think that would help.
Yeah, I think getting a drone up over it to really get a bird's eye view looking down at it will help us figure it out. And like, I want to do that over at Birch as well, so we could see, what 1 year of water did to that project. But it looked like the channel that we had them cut, most of that looked like it stayed.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, I saw that,
Yeah,
the little stream channel.
yeah. So,
Are those muskrat huts out there? Or stumps that they come out?
Stumps, yeah.
Stumps,
yeah,
we should get those out of there somehow.
fisheries all right, yeah.
Yeah, let us.
We wouldn't,
Fisheries.
if they know. I thought they were muskrat huts.
Just put some tannerite underneath it and blow them up.
Well, I guess we'll leave them. All right. Anything else? Announcements? When's our next meeting? December?
December.
Sweet.
Well, we usually have to change Decembers.
Yeah, let's see.
Some people are gone sometimes.
He's already gone. He left today.
Well, that's true.
16th is what I show. The plan commission will be meeting on the 9th. They have a public hearing for the master plan and potentially a site plan review.
So it's December 16th.
Yep.
Okay. Uh. Yep, now we're going to deal with the evaluation, so we'll have to have a motion for a closed session.
Hey,
Motion made by Laraway for a closed session for review. Personnel review, seconded by Latte. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no, motion carries.